All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth, and we are proud to offer this program with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for future use through a YouTube channel. And today our guest is Peggy Spear, and she is going to share with us art related to hunting and fishing.
Hey, gang.
We're excited to see what she has to share.
All right. Hold on. Let me silence my phone.
And I've made you co-host so that you can share your screen.
All right. Here we are. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, I know Nancy's probably talked about some hunting and fishing in the past, but we're really focusing on just a couple of the artworks and then an old artwork you've seen before, but we're chatting about it again because why not? So, hunting and fishing. Did anybody do any hunting or fishing this past Labor Day weekend? I think some of the hunting
Not me.
and stuff.
Just say no distance.
No fishing.
All went dove hunting.
Yep, this is the season. Anybody go fishing this weekend?
I was fishing for the right answers to questions, but other than that, I didn't get anywhere.
That's another skill in and of itself. Well, I went fishing, and I have never gone fishing in my entire life. So,
Wow.
At 35 years old, I thought maybe I'll join this party, and I totally understand why it's so fun. So, it's a treat for me. But
Did you have the first timer's luck and catch a bunch of fish?
my line broke twice, so it was a stocked pond too. My husband was like, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I was like, is it? Because I can't catch anything. I keep it on my line. So no, nothing came out of the water, but I got some nibbles. So that's what kept me staying, wanting to do it. So it was fun. And my almost 2-year-old son was with us too. So he was having a blast. We had like a little rod for him. It was silly.
Cool. But I love fishing.
It's relaxing. But frustrating. I get it why people get frustrated too. Okay, so we are looking at, what do we see here? Can you tell me what we see happening in this painting?
Looks like he caught a fish because the pole's bent.
Right. We're looking at a man fishing, and you think he's got a fish because his pole's bent.
Yeah.
Up here, you can see how the pole is curving. What's really cool, if you were actually able to get up close to the artwork, the artist reworked that part of the painting, so you can see where the pole was initially bending, and then this is where he actually landed. But you can see he went back and repainted over the pole where he initially planned it. Okay, so we see a fishing pole. What does this fishing pole look like to you? Does it look like a regular fishing pole?
It looks like a bamboo pole.
You're exactly right. So, this is old bamboo, but it is a bamboo pole. And I don't know if any of you have bamboo growing in your yard, but it is extremely flexible when it's fresh, when it's still pretty alive or right out of the ground. It's very pliable. So he's using that as his fishing pole. What else do we notice about this scene?
The sea's kind of rough, isn't it?
You're right. It seems very rough. What makes you say that?
Waiting to see the different colors of the ocean, and it's building up, and the froth and
the froth. Yep.
In the back too, that may indicate perhaps a stormy day.
Yes, it does look like a very not angry sea, but a very rough sea.
Yeah.
Really good observation. Yeah, the foam here. There's Looks like there's foam over here and down here. And how he's standing.
Mhm.
Oh, this must be a heavy fish on the other end of that line.
Yeah, because of his stance, he's really positioned himself to make sure he doesn't slip. And it looks like, let's look a little bit at his clothing. What does it look like he's wearing on his legs?
Oh, his, yeah. His
I was
waterproof.
trying to figure out if those were the waders or not. It didn't look quite like it to me, but
No, that's Janine. Yeah, Janine, you're right. You can kind of see around, like right under where his bottom cheeks are, right near the head. And then he's got, it looks like it hooks onto his belt. I think he is wearing waders. You were right to spot that. His vest. And then what color hair does it look like he has?
Kind of reddish.
Reddish, exactly. Because of that color of his hair, some art historians speculate that this is actually George Bellows, the painter himself. And then he's got his little fishing hat on. Has anyone heard of the artist George Bellows before?
no.
He was a New Yorker. Well, he ended up in New York. But he was a big fisherman himself. He was an athlete. He grew up in Ohio, and he actually played basketball and baseball at Ohio State. And then decided to move to the East Coast to pursue his career in art. But he was a big outdoorsman himself. So that kind of feeds into this idea that maybe the person we're looking at is actually the artist, or a nod to the artist, might be a self-portrait. We don't really know. But say that, Patrick, what did you say? I'm sorry, Patrick, I didn't hear what you were saying, but chime on in if it comes to you. Yeah, so he actually was on the East Coast, but he painted this on the West Coast in an area called Big Sur. Have any of you been to Big Sur before?
Yeah, love it. Oh my God, what a gorgeous place.
I've heard that. So did you get to spend much time down on the water?
Enough for me. I'm petrified and scared to death of water, so
we probably wouldn't see you on this jagged rock fishing.
No, I'd be far away from it, taking pictures of it, but I wouldn't be on it.
I was wondering how the guy got out on that rock.
That's a great question. I mean, probably hiked on it.
Helicoptered out and then lowered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He dropped from his helicopter on in.
The
No, I
water
know.
the water behind the rock looks peaceful. So I guess he waited out there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when I look at this painting, I automatically like clench my ab muscles, like engaging my core. Because don't you just feel like one false move and this guy might slip?
Yeah, man.
Crack his head open.
And that water.
I actually just pulled up a picture of this area, and he actually could walk to where he's at.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
When you finish, I'll show the picture that looks a lot like where he's at.
Yeah, the particular, it's called Point Lobo, is the exact spot on Big Sur.
Okay. Big Sur. Let me see if I can find that while you're talking.
Cool. Yeah, so George Bellows, like I was saying, who's an East Coaster, he visited the West Coast. He was taking an art class in the school in San Francisco, so Big Sur is not far from San Francisco. And he used to be in love with painting the cities. He was actually part of a group called the Ashcan Group. And the reason they called themselves the Ashcan Group, they painted the grittier scenes of urban life. And Ashcans were often seen in these dwellings under bridges or in areas where maybe people who were homeless or in a drug scene or gang scene, something like that, would gather around trash cans and light them on fire as their way for warmth. So that was called the ash. They called themselves the ash can group, and there are about 8 other artists in this group that really kind of captured the underbelly of the city. But then he got married, and it softened him, and he loved painting the sea. And so of his about 500, estimated 500 paintings, 250 of them are of the sea. And it was during this time, there was this interest in Theodore Roosevelt's philosophy that, the nature is for everybody, not just for those who feel connected to the earth. It's for yours for the taking. So that meant hunting and fishing was available. It was something that everybody could embark on. So there's this because he's alone, you get this feeling of he's out there and making the most of his land, but you get this sense of the struggle. Like I think it was either Joe or Paulette was saying that the sea, it's a kind of an aggressive sea. So it's this constant struggle of man versus nature.
Many minutes.
And so we don't know. Do you think he pulls the fish out of the water? Or do you think?
I hope not. I hope the fish escaped and got away.
So Paulette's thinking 1 for the fish. Anyone think 1 for the fisherman?
Well, it looks awfully precarious for him to be able to pull in a fish that's that heavy.
Yeah. What I worry about is if it gets a little rougher or something, if the waves coming over on that rock, make it very slippery. Yeah.
And you don't really see any other equipment there.
Mm-mm.
No, that's a really good observation, Gail. You don't even see a reel on his fishing rod.
Mm-mm.
Most bamboo poles don't have reels.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you can feel the tension in this painting, or at least I can feel the tension in this painting of man versus sea. And this was a very common theme throughout George Bellows' work. And you might know George Bellows before he started painting landscapes and seascapes. He painted boxing scenes.
Okay.
So he was real into the boxing scene in New York City. So you might have seen those in your days of of fighters in a boxing ring. He's very much into sports as well. So, all right. So we're leaving the sea, and we're heading inland, and we're gonna spend a minute, some time with this sculpture called Indian Hunter. God bless you, Gail.
Thank you.
All right. So what do we see, guys?
We see a poor deer being murdered.
Yes.
I know this. It's actually pronged antelope. This poor animal doesn't seem to stand a chance. So we see the animal, and what do we see? Who do you think this man is over here?
What did you say?
I said, who do you think this man might be over here? Or type of person he might be?
Indian brave.
A brave person, you're right.
You got to say Indian brave.
Oh, an Indian brave. Yes, it's an American Indian. You are right. But not any particular American Indian that we know of. But he is depicting an American Indian. And can you see maybe what's draped on his leg?
Is that maybe to tie up his prey? Maybe.
Yeah, it might have been something he killed before. It's like a pelt. You can see little paws on draping on the inside of his leg.
Okay.
And then you can notice his hair pulled back or pulled off to the side. And then, okay, so he's pulling back his bow, but do you see an arrow?
Mm-mm.
It's in the side of the deer.
You're right.
Oh,
And not all of them have that bow in the side of the animal, because what he was trying to do was, when he created this sculpture, he designed it knowing it would be on someone's mantle. And so on either end of their mantle. So sometimes the bow isn't there because the viewer is assuming the bow might be, somewhere in the air here. But that's what's connecting the two artworks together when they're separated on a mantelpiece. So what do you notice about some of the lines? Does it feel very smooth? Does it feel very jagged? Does it feel elegant? Does it feel kind of rough? What are your thoughts about just kind of the overall composition?
Smooth, I'd say.
Say that again, please.
You can actually feel the pain of the deer in this scene, the bunched up muscles and everything.
That's a great observation.
But as far as lines go, they're all very smooth and curvy.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the muscles on the man and actually the deer show up real well.
Yep.
Yeah, and his hips and then the rear of the deer. Very lifelike that way. Shows
So
attention, I
probably
guess.
wouldn't be surprised then if I told you Paul Manship, the sculptor, created this after he visited Rome and was at the Capitoline Hill and saw all in the Capitoline Museum and saw all of these Greek and Roman sculpture.
It very much looks like that, especially the shape of the man.
Yeah, like his torso. You commented on his muscular torso, and yes, very much.
The feet and the muscles in the legs too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this style is called archaic, and you see it everywhere in Greece and in Rome, and particularly in Greece. While it might not be on sculpture, it might be. And I should have included a picture. I can give it a quick pull up. It looks very similar to the black and red vessels that you might see that have the band around it telling a story. So let me pull up a quick image. Black and red vessels. So something you might see like this. Got all sorts of things happening here. So you can see the bodies here look very similar to what we're seeing here. And so this particular artist was very interested in the simple but elegant lines of these sculptors. And then this is right before, as you can see, it was created in 1914. It then was right before Art Nouveau and Art Deco came into fashion. You can see some of the curly lines that were then very much in fashion with Art Deco. Were any of you bow hunters or have children or spouses who were bow hunters?
I aspired to be a bow hunter, but I never went hunting. But I loved shooting the bow.
Have you ever taken like archery lessons or something like that?
I'm wondering if I took actual lessons. I can't remember. My husband taught me because he had been bow hunting when he was younger. And I tell you what, you learn to move your elbow out of the way very fast.
there's a woman on staff, a curator. Her name is Maggie, and she was actually a alternate for the 1996 archery Olympic team. She's very, very good at archery. And her shot in general is really good. She went to King Ranch this last fall, and they handed her a rifle. She never shot a rifle before, and she picked off every one of the soda cans along the way. So,
wow.
Yeah. I guess if you're a good marksman, it transfers. Yeah, does anyone have a deer lease or go out, have been up in a blind or anything to go deer hunting?
John has, but he's asleep.
Yeah,
I don't think you have a lot of hunting and fishermen here today.
No anglers, no hunters. That's quite all right. I grew up, and my dad wasn't a hunter, so coming down here, it seems like a lot of people do dove hunting. Up north, there was a lot of deer hunting. I grew up in Maryland, so it was a lot of deer hunting because they ate a lot of crops. So that was always, deer season was always very big up north for us. We never saw the pronged antelope up where we were. And then one last hunting fishing scene. I know some of you have talked about this with Nancy before, but this is one of our paintings that is near and dear to so many people's hearts, but this massive painting called The Hunter's Return. So can you see where the hunter is returning?
Below the orange tree.
You're exactly right. And you can't tell in this picture, but any guesses on what is hanging on this stick across the men's shoulders?
It's not clear enough to see.
I know this is a poor reproduction, even though it's on our website. It's a deer, and it's tied by its legs and has a stick running through it. So its head is closer to the ground and its feet are up in the air, and you might.
I see it now.
Yeah, and here's the deer's head draping down.
It looks like they did not field dress it.
You're right. That's a really good observation. No, it doesn't, in the painting, it doesn't look gory outside of just its wound from being killed. And you can see, well, you can't see here, but in the painting, he's resting his rifle on his shoulder, and the older man, I assume dad, is holding his rifle, not practicing the best gun safety, but holding his rifle right at his son.
Oh, that's not good.
Right. But you can see they're coming home. There's a bit of a domestic scene here. And there are two puppies you can't see, but they're very, very tiny. If you get close to the painting, you can see there's a little puppy here. And then there's a little puppy standing next to the girl that's right here. Does anyone have or had in the past a hunting dog or a pointing dog as a family pet?
No.
I had a German short hair pointer. They're very beautiful dogs, but I had a German short hair pointer for a long time, and we weren't hunters, but he wanted to. He was always pointing for geese. It was funny.
My great grandfather had a hunting dog. It was a bird dog because he used it for bird hunting, and the dog was so ugly. When my youngest sister was little, she named it Beautiful. It was a very ugly dog, but my little sister named it Old Beautiful.
Oh, I love that. And it stuck. The name stuck.
It stuck.
Oh, how cute.
I had a black cat that I named Rainbow.
I love the.
We had a black cat named Panther and a black dog named Blackie, if you can imagine. Oh, my husband wanted me to show you this.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. Can you see it?
Which
Turn
Patricia, hold it in front of the one where you're
to
looking.
the other side, in front of your face. Now move it in front of your face on the other side.
In front of my
Looking.
face.
Now look where you, when you're looking into the camera.
Left. There you
Perfect. There you go.
Ozark anglers.
Yes. Since you were doing the hunters and the fishermen, then Bob wanted you to see this.
Very cool.
There you go.
So is Bob a fisher? Was
No.
it?
No, he is not a fisherman.
Is he a sticker collector? Is that why he had that?
Oh, actually, it's a magnetic strip that you can.
Oh, okay. It looked like a bumper sticker.
Well, he grew up in Fayetteville, in the Ozarks, in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So this
Definitely hunting territory and
Yeah.
fishing.
Yep, sure is.
Very cool. Almost. Well, these are our 3 artworks this week. Any closing thoughts before we start?
Well, let me take over the screen and I'll share the pictures that I pulled up
Yes, please.
of that area.
Okay, so here's where this is the artwork that Gail is going to reference the scenery where this fisherman actually was.
So there's several different pictures of this area. But this picture right here
Oh,
Oh, wow.
looks a whole lot like the rocks and the water there.
I'm ready to go.
And it says Point Lobos. And I've probably been near this area because we lived in California when I was a toddler.
Huh?
And there's certain names in California that ring bells in my head when I hear them. And
Is this one of them?
it kind of does in a way, but there's a couple other pictures I was going to pull up. That here, this one. I thought this one looked a lot like that painting. See this
Wow.
area right here?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, what happened to it? Why did it go away? It looks like he could have walked on the beach up to where he was in this area right here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that color of the water, too, in both of those images, that blue and that green looks very similar to what he painted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
No? What makes you think it might be a totally different spot?
I think Nancy must have left us.
Okay.
I just don't want to say anymore.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay. You're
Have you-
not right or wrong. I mean, we don't know, so we're just speculating.
have you been to Point Lobos, Nancy?
Oh, yes.
You have? It doesn't look right? Here's also a map. I was trying to see if I could find it on the map,
Oh, interesting. Uh-huh.
but I don't see Point Lobo on the map. Nancy, do you know where it's at from this map?
No.
No?
Lobo's a wolf, isn't it?
Oh, here it is. Okay, so Gail, if you see where it says one,
Oh, I see it right
yeah.
here. Right there.
Cool.
So it's got some very jagged edges
Uh-huh.
on that land and rock formation.
And I bet very cold water.
Mm-hmm.
I had to leave and go get my groceries. I
Okay,
think I
well,
need to go put up the cold stuff, so I'm going to head out.
Bye, Janine. It was good talking with you. We'll see you next week.
All
Have
right,
fun.
bye.
Bye, Janine.
Bye.
I. This is
Yeah,
Nancy.
so there must have been a bunch of wolves out there. Is that what you're saying? Point Lobos. Lobos means wolf.
Figuring it out.
But
Yeah, I'm
there's
not sure I'd want to camp in there. Paula, I had all those Wolves are out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I love all the colors of the water in this picture.
And it seems kind of rough in the pictures you've shown, Gail. It does seem like there's a lot of water waves breaking in different places because of all the rocks. So, yeah, the artist did a pretty good job of capturing some of that that drama of the water. And if you were to see the artwork up close, you can see a lot of his brush strokes, and they're very dramatic. So I'm sure he was really trying to get at the drama of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Here's another picture that has the rocks out in the water and the mountain area across from it,
Cool.
like in the painting.
Thanks for pulling those up. That's really helpful.
You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
Makes you want to go visit the ocean, huh?
Yeah,
Amen.
our daughter lives in California. We get to go out there frequently.
In Northern California?
Yeah, they're in Northern California.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, she lives in a little town called Woodland and teaches immigration law at UC Davis.
Oh, good for her. Oh, wonderful.
Here's another picture that's very similar to the scene in the painting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you can see on the top right side that land jutting out. It's very similar to the piece of land Bellows captured in his painting.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, friends. Well, it was good chatting with you this week, and I hope I see you all next week. Next week, we are talking about, I think it's America is the theme. So we're looking at some of our classic American paintings here at the museum.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
Wonderful. Great.
Peggy, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For
Thank
being
you
with
for hosting.
And we'll see you next week.
Perfect. Bye, y'all. Be good.
Thank you.
Oh, darn.
Okay, can you all still see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you see?
You.
Just me?
Oh,
No,
well,
all
I
the-
guess
all the
I
rocks.
see all the,
Okay,
the,
I have
the
to,
actual scenes and more scenes and a mileage sign and all that kind of good stuff.
okay, I have to choose a different screen to share. There we go. All right. So tomorrow, Thursday, September the 10th, we will be playing Jeopardy.
Okay.
So come with your thinking caps on, and I'll come up with a new subject matter for our game tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thanks for getting it off to a beautiful start.
All right.
Thank you, Al.
Joe and Patsy, so glad you got to join us today.
Yeah, good.
I'll
All
play
right.
it.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.